What exactly is the truth behind Giraffe's disappearance? Nobody seems to know. Welcome back to Kim Tells Tales, where every story has a lesson. So come closer, little one. Let me tell you a story. One bright morning, Giraffe rushed through the village carrying a small travel bag. I have to leave immediately, he called out. He did not stop to see if anyone had heard him, and unbeknownst to him, nobody actually saw him leave. The next morning, the animals were confused. Where is Giraffe? Asked Zebra. Where did he go? Wondered Elephant. And why didn't he tell anyone? Nobody knew, but one animal acted as if he knew everything. It was Jackal. Jackal puffed out his chest proudly. Oh, I know exactly what happened, he said confidently. The other animals gathered around him immediately, and that was the beginning of the chaos. Jackal lowered his voice dramatically. Giraffe has been chosen to protect the king of the northern village, he whispered. The animals gasped. Really? Asked Zebra. Of course, said Jackal confidently. Why else would he leave so suddenly without telling anyone? Soon, the rumor spread through the village. Monkey began marching around with sticks, pretending to be a royal guard. Warthog saluted everyone he passed. Even Hyena tried standing tall like a soldier. They looked ridiculous. But by sunset, Elephant frowned. He had been thinking about the matter all day and had serious doubts. This doesn't make sense, he said. Giraffe is afraid of loud noises. He once screamed because a melon exploded. The animals paused. Jackal quickly cleared his throat. Well, maybe he's the quiet kind of god. Then he casually walked away. Can you guess what really happened to Giraffe? Remember, if you like the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. The next morning, the animals were still worried. Maybe something terrible has happened, whispered Rabbit. Jackal's ears perked up immediately. Oh, yes, he announced dramatically. I heard giant birds carry Giraffe away. The animals stared at him. Birds? Asked Elephant slowly. Yes, very large ones, Jackal insisted. They mistook him for a tree. Monkey nearly fell off a branch laughing. But some animals became nervous. Chicken refused to look at the sky. What if the giant birds take me too? He worried. Goat hid near a big rock. If giant birds can lift a heavy giraffe off the ground, imagine what they could do to him. Even Zebra kept ducking whenever pigeons flew overhead. Soon, everyone was nervously glancing up at the sky. Later that day, Tortoise slowly shook his head. Jackal, he said calmly, how can birds carry someone taller than a tree? And why would birds carry trees away in the first place? Jackal froze for a second. Then he smiled nervously. They were very determined birds. And before anyone could ask another question, he trotted away. By the third day, the village had become wild with rumors. Nobody knew what to believe anymore. Then Jackal made his biggest announcement yet. I finally know the truth. The real truth, he shouted. The animals crowded around eagerly. Giraffe has left to become a famous singer. The crowd burst into confused chatter. A singer? Asked Zebra. Yes, said Jackal proudly. He has gone on a world tour. Monkey grabbed a banana and began singing into it, terribly. Hyena danced in circles. Even Elephant tried humming. But then Lion narrowed his eyes. Jackal, he said slowly, Giraffe cannot sing. Jackal grinned awkwardly. Exactly. That's why he left. To practice. The animals groaned loudly. Later that evening, a familiar figure appeared on the road. It was Giraffe, dusty, tired, but smiling. The animals ran towards him excitedly. Where have you been? They shouted. Giraffe looked surprised. Oh, didn't I tell anyone? My grandmother in the next village was sick. I rushed there to help her. The animals went silent. Slowly, very slowly, every head turned toward Jackal. Jackal suddenly became very interested in a pebble on the ground. Elephant folded his arms. So, Lion said carefully, you were not a royal guard? No, said Giraffe. And giant birds did not kidnap you? Certainly not. Why on earth would you think that? And you did not run away to practice becoming a famous singer? Giraffe laughed so hard he nearly dropped his travel bag. Jackal blinked innocently. Hmm, he said thoughtfully. Strange. That is not what the birds told me. The animals burst into laughter. Even Giraffe laughed until tears rolled down his face. Jackal scratched his head and smiled sheepishly. From that day on, whenever Jackal started a sentence with, I know exactly what happened, the animals would laugh and ask, are you sure, Jackal? And the whole village would roar with laughter once again. On that day, the animals learned something. Do not spread rumors, especially about things you do not know. Sometimes the wisest thing to say is simply, I don't know. Did you enjoy that? Please remember the same story is available in our next video in Sesotho.